Episode 5 feels like the moment when the carefully constructed world of the Bridgertons begins to crack, revealing the vulnerabilities and hidden truths beneath the polished surfaces of Regency society. From the trailer alone, it's clear that Benedict's journey of self-discovery and longing is reaching a tipping point. He's no longer just the charming dreamer, drifting through grand balls and polite society. He's a man confronting the consequences of his desires, forced to navigate feelings that are far more complicated than mere attraction. The intensity in his eyes, the hesitations in his gestures, and even the subtle shifts in his tone suggest a character who is starting to understand that love isn't just about longing or idealism. It comes with danger, compromise, and moral complexity. And Sophie, who has been the embodiment of resilience and realism throughout the season, faces her own mounting pressure. Her strength and wit, which have been her shields so far, are being tested in ways that the earlier episodes only hinted at. Episode 5 seems poised to explore not just the external conflicts she faces, society's judgment, her precarious social standing, and the very real threat to her independence, but also the internal struggles of choosing between safety and desire. The trailer hints at moments where Sophie must weigh the cost of her heart against the stakes of her survival, emphasizing that love in the world of Bridgerton is rarely simple or risk-free. What makes this episode particularly compelling is the way it appears to juxtapose the whimsical elegance of the Bridgerton universe with darker, almost raw emotional beats. While the first half of Season 4 allowed for flirtation, playful tension, and the slow, tantalizing pull between Benedict and Sophie, Episode 5 seems unafraid to strip away that comfort. The trailer reveals moments charged with urgency. Glances linger longer, silences carry weight, and choices are framed in ways that suggest permanent contact. There's a sense of inevitability here, as if the slow-burning questions that have been teasing viewers since the start of the season are finally demanding answers. What does Benedict truly want? Can Sophie fully trust him? And perhaps most pressing, is their love strong enough to withstand the pressures of a society that is anything but forgiving? Even in a trailer that is just over a minute long, the tension is palpable. Every frame suggests that the episode is as much about emotional reckoning as it is about plot progression. There's an almost cinematic quality to the scenes teased, moments where the camera lingers on a character's expression just long enough to make the audience feel the weight of the choices being made. Benedict's charm, which has been a constant throughout the series, now carries with it a trace of desperation, as if the pursuit of his idealized love is no longer a romantic game, but a dangerous endeavor with real stakes. And Sophie, whose intelligence and agency have always set her apart in a world that prizes beauty and status over substance, now appears more vulnerable than ever, not because she has lost her strength, but because the challenges she faces are escalating beyond her control. There's also a thematic richness hinted at in the trailer. The episode seems to grapple with questions of identity, agency, and morality. In previous episodes, Benedict has existed in a somewhat protected bubble of privilege and expectation, floating through life as an observer as much as a participant. Episode 5 promises to push him into a space where observation is no longer enough. He must act, and the consequences of his actions are unavoidable. Similarly, Sophie's arc highlights the harsh realities faced by women of limited means in Regency society. Her choices are not purely romantic, they are strategic, necessary for survival, and fraught with ethical and emotional complexity. This duality, the collision of fairy tale fantasy with real-world consequence, is what gives Episode 5 its heightened sense of suspense. It's not just about whether Benedict and Sophie will finally confront their feelings, it's about whether they can survive the world around them while remaining true to themselves and each other. Episode 5 doesn't just raise the stakes for Benedict and Sophie, it also promises to pull back the curtain on the intricate web of secrets and schemes that defines Regency society. From the trailer, it's clear that the world around them is shifting as much as the relationship at the center of the story. Allies might not be as loyal as they seem, and even the most polished members of the ton carry motivations that are hidden just beneath their polite exteriors. The tension in this episode is not just emotional, it's strategic. Every glance between characters, every carefully worded sentence, feels loaded with meaning. There's a sense that someone is watching, listening, and waiting to exploit any moment of weakness. Benedict's usual confidence is tempered by unease. hinting that he may be caught in a situation far more complicated than any ball or polite encounter could prepare him for. Meanwhile, Sophie's calculated poise is under pressure, as the very survival skills that have kept her safe until now might not be enough to navigate the rising tide of intrigue. One of the most fascinating elements teased in the trailer is how Episode 5 plays with perception. We see moments where characters appear to be on the same page, yet the tension in their interactions tells a different story. What Benedict perceives as loyalty, Sophie may perceive as caution, or worse, as threat. Similarly, the Tons' gossip-fueled society is never far from the surface, meaning that reputations can be weaponized at any moment. This constant dance of appearances versus reality is what gives the episode a psychological edge. It's no longer simply a romance, it's a study in control, trust, and the consequences of misjudging both. Even minor gestures, a glance held a fraction too long, a seemingly casual comment, take on heavy significance, creating suspense that lingers long after the moment passes. The interplay of power in Episode 5 is equally compelling. Benedict, for all his charm and artistic idealism, is reminded that desire alone cannot shield him from the social rules that govern the Ton. Sophie, on the other hand, has always been acutely aware of how power, or the lack of it, shapes every interaction. The trailer suggests that she may be forced to assert herself in ways that challenge Benedict's expectations, and perhaps her own understanding of what love requires. There's a push-and-pull dynamic building here that is almost magnetic. Sophie must balance caution with passion, and Benedict must reconcile fantasy with reality. It's an emotional chess match, where each move carries consequences that extend far beyond the confines of a single ball or conversation. Suspicion is another key thread teased for Episode 5. Benedict's growing obsession with understanding Sophie and Sophie's guarded responses create an undercurrent of tension that makes every interaction feel like a delicate negotiation. The trailer hints at moments where trust is tested, where intentions are questioned, and where the past and present collide to shape the decisions that will define both characters' future. Finally, Episode 5 promises to explore how alliances shift when emotions are high and stakes are higher. Friends and family may take unexpected sides, loyalties may fracture, and the pressures of social expectation may push even the most composed characters to act impulsively. The trailer hints at scenes where decisions must be made quickly and where hesitation could be costly. For Benedict and Sophie, this is a test of both love and judgment. Can they remain true to themselves while navigating the intricate dance of the Ton? Will they act in ways that honor their feelings, or will the weight of expectation and the presence of hidden enemies force them into compromise? The answers to these questions promise to make Episode 5 one of the most thrilling, suspenseful, and emotionally charged chapters of the season so far. Episode 5 seems to finally confront the question that has been simmering under the surface for the entire season. What happens when desire collides with reality? The trailer makes it abundantly clear that the slow-burn tension between Benedict and Sophie is about to explode, and it's not going to be neat or easy. Their connection, built over glances, brief encounters, and unspoken understanding, has always carried a sense of magic. But Episode 5 appears determined to show just how messy that magic can be when feelings are tested against the harshness of the world around them. Benedict, for all his charm and whimsical idealism, now faces the reality that love is rarely straightforward. His pursuit of Sophie is no longer a playful dance through candlelit halls or masked balls. It's fraught with emotional vulnerability, miscommunication, and moral complexity. Every moment he hesitates, every risk he takes, feels weighted with consequence, making the audience acutely aware that this is more than just a romantic interlude. It's a test of character, endurance, and understanding. Sophie, on the other hand, is no longer just the observer of Benedict's world. She is an active participant in shaping her own destiny. The trailer hints at her internal conflict, the battle between self-preservation and the pull of desire. She knows the stakes. Her heart, her safety, and even her social survival hang in the balance. And this awareness transforms every interaction into a delicate negotiation. Watching her navigate these waters is both thrilling and heart-wrenching. because it's clear that giving in to her feelings could come at a cost far greater than simply heartbreak. For the audience, this dynamic creates a tension that is almost unbearable at times. Will Sophie trust Benedict completely? Or will her caution prevent her from fully embracing the love that has been building for the past episodes? And for Benedict, will his idealized vision of Sophie allow him to see her as a real, complex person, or will obsession and desire cloud his judgment? Episode 5 seems set to make us confront these questions head-on. The trailer also hints at moments where passion and conflict intertwine in ways that push both characters to their emotional limits. Small gestures, a lingering touch, a hesitant hand, a look that carries unspoken meaning, are magnified, suggesting that Episode 5 will be a study in intimacy as much as drama. There's a rawness to these moments that hasn't been seen in earlier episodes, a willingness to explore vulnerability, tension, and the messy human side of love. It's no longer about polite flirtation or careful glances across a ballroom. It's about emotional honesty, the risk of exposing one's heart, and the consequences that follow. The intensity of these interactions, as teased in the trailer, promises to keep viewers on edge, holding their breath as each choice, word, and reaction builds toward inevitable revelation. But passion doesn't exist in isolation. Episode 5 makes it clear that societal pressures, gossip, and hidden agendas will continue to complicate their romance. The Tons' watchful eyes, the ever-present concern with reputation, and the subtle maneuvering of those around them create a tension that makes every romantic moment feel precarious. Benedict's efforts to reach Sophie are laden with risk, not only emotionally but socially, and Sophie's guarded responses remind the audience that love is never just personal. It is always political in Regency society. Every decision they make could have repercussions that ripple far beyond the private confines of their relationship, heightening the stakes and amplifying the suspense. What makes this episode particularly thrilling is that it promises to blur the lines between desire and danger. Benedict and Sophie's connection is electric, but the trailer suggests that the consequences of acting on that connection may be immediate and severe. It's not just a test of their feelings, but a challenge to their judgment, morality, and resilience. Episode 5 appears to embrace this complexity, weaving tension, romance, and suspense into a narrative that is as emotionally gripping as it is socially intricate. By the end of the episode, viewers are likely to be left questioning not only what will happen next, but also how the delicate balance between love, power, and survival will shape the characters' futures. This is more than romance, it is the collision of hearts, wills, and worlds, and it is poised to make Episode 5 one of the most memorable and emotionally charged chapters of Season 4 so far. Episode 5 appears to be the point where the masks of Regency society truly begin to slip, and the trailer leaves no doubt that secrets are about to explode into the open. Beneath the elegance, opulence, and carefully maintained decorum, danger and deception lurk, and this episode promises to reveal just how fragile the world of the Bridgertons really is. Benedict and Sophie, who have been navigating their growing attraction and clashing worlds, are about to be forced into situations where every choice matters, and the consequences are anything but hypothetical. The tension is tangible. You can almost feel it crackling in every frame of the trailer. Small interactions that once seemed trivial now carry weight, and every whispered conversation could be the prelude to scandal. For the audience, this is the episode that transforms anticipation into edge-of-your-seat suspense, because nothing, absolutely nothing, is guaranteed. What makes Episode 5 so compelling is the way it balances emotional intensity with social danger. Benedict, whose idealistic vision of love has guided him through the first half of the season, now faces challenges that test his judgment in unprecedented ways. There's a sense in the trailer that he may be confronted with truths about Sophie, the Ton, or even himself that are difficult to process. The charm and charisma that once made his pursuit almost effortless are no longer shields against the complications swirling around him. Meanwhile, Sophie's keen perception and survival instincts are highlighted more than ever. She is acutely aware of the power dynamics at play, the risks posed by exposure, and the fragility of trust in a world built on reputation and appearances. Every decision she makes in episode 5 seems like a high-stakes gamble, one where miscalculation could have far-reaching consequences, not just for her heart, but for her very future. The trailer hints at moments of emotional confrontation that are likely to be both electrifying and devastating. There's a raw, almost unfiltered quality to Benedict and Sophie's interactions that suggests the slow burn between them is finally giving way to a mix of desire, frustration, and vulnerability. But it's not just the emotional tension that drives the suspense. There are also dark undertones woven throughout. Subtle gestures, fleeting expressions, and ominous framing indicate that forces beyond their control are closing in. Whether it's societal scrutiny, hidden enemies, or unexpected betrayals, the episode seems set to immerse viewers in a world where stakes are higher, consequences are sharper, and the margin for error is razor-thin. The juxtaposition of intimate moments and looming threats keeps the audience guessing. Will love triumph, or will the harsh realities of Regency society exact a devastating toll? Another element that stands out in the trailer is the sense of urgency. Actions must be taken, and secrets can no longer be ignored. Benedict and Sophie's choices are portrayed as immediate, pressing, and laden with potential fallout. The pacing suggested by the trailer is fast, deliberate, and tense, leaving little room for hesitation or distraction. Each decision, glance, and conversation feels like it could tip the delicate balance between desire, morality, and survival. This episode is not about slow, teasing romance. It's about consequences, revelations, and the undeniable fact that the world around them is as dangerous as it is beautiful. Every move feels like a gamble, and the viewer is drawn into the suspense, wondering who will falter, who will prevail, and what shocking twist might redefine the course of the season. Perhaps most thrilling of all is the way episode 5 seems to force the characters, and the audience, to confront uncomfortable truths. Benedict's idealism, Sophie's cautious realism, and the Ton's rigid social structure are all tested in ways that promise to challenge expectations and redefine relationships. The trailer teases moments that may divide fans, provoke debate, and keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Secrets long hidden are likely to surface, alliances may shift unexpectedly, and the emotional stakes are higher than they've ever been. Episode 5 is shaping up to be a turning point, a chapter where the collision of desire, power, and consequence reaches a fever pitch, leaving both characters and viewers breathless and craving more. Episode 5 feels like the moment the entire season has been building toward, where the delicate threads of desire, secrecy, and consequence converge into a maelstrom of drama and suspense. The trailer teases scenes that suggest nothing is safe, not love, not loyalty, and certainly not reputation. Benedict and Sophie, whose connection has been the emotional heartbeat of Season 4, are being tested in ways that push their limits. The slow, teasing romance that has captivated viewers is now layered with urgency and intensity, making every glance, every touch, and every word feel monumental. There's a sense that the choices made in this episode will resonate not just for the characters themselves, but for the narrative of the entire season. The pressure is mounting, and it's clear that neither character can escape the consequences of their actions, no matter how carefully they navigate the dangerous waters of the Ton. The trailer hints at moments of confrontation and revelation that promise to be both thrilling and heartbreaking. Benedict's idealism is pushed to its breaking point, and viewers may finally see the collision between his dreams and reality in a raw, unfiltered way. Sophie, who has always been strategic and guarded, appear to be forced to reveal more of herself than ever before, risking vulnerability in a world where exposure can be dangerous. The tension between them is electric. It's not just romantic longing anymore. It's a high-stakes dance where love, trust, and survival all hang in the balance. Every interaction seems charged with potential disaster, and the audience is left holding their breath, wondering how far each character is willing to go to protect what and who they care about most. Episode 5 also seems poised to push the boundaries of suspense beyond the central romance. Hidden agendas, secret alliances, and social maneuvering continue to add layers of unpredictability. Even minor characters, whose roles may have seemed peripheral in earlier episodes, appear in the trailer with a weight and significance that hint at surprises, betrayals, or pivotal influence on the unfolding drama. The sense that danger and intrigue can come from anywhere keeps viewers on edge, reinforcing that, in the world of Bridgerton, beauty, privilege, and charm are never guarantees of safety. The stakes have never been higher, and the episode seems to revel in testing the limits of trust, loyalty, and moral judgment. But amidst the suspense, Episode 5 also promises moments of deep emotional resonance. The intensity of Benedict and Sophie's relationship, the conflicts they face, and the choices they must make are designed to evoke empathy, anticipation, and sometimes shock. Their journey is not just about passion or romance, it's about survival, integrity, and the courage to face uncomfortable truths. The trailer suggests that viewers will experience highs and lows, moments of exhilaration and heartbreak, and scenes that will linger in memory long after the episode ends. This combination of suspense, emotion, and narrative complexity is what makes Episode 5 feel like a pivotal chapter, a turning point where everything hangs in the balance and nothing can be taken for granted.